Hello there everyone, welcome back once again to Retro Anime Realm, and today we shall be talking about the Gundam The Origin OVA series and what I felt about it. So last weekend I just finished up watching the 6th and final episode of Gundam The Origin. Well, you may be thinking, this channel's called Retro Anime Realm, why are you covering something which is made so recently? The reason being, the rule when it comes to this channel is, because Gundam is a series made more than 20 years ago, I will be covering the new Gundam stuff also, and it will be the same with every other franchise I get into in the future also. So yeah, what did I think about Gundam The Origin really? I enjoyed it. It wasn't like my favourite piece of Gundam ever created, let's put it that way, but I did enjoy it. It's not something which was like, wow, I really enjoyed that so much, but yeah, it's something that I enjoyed pretty much. It was nice, like, being able to see like a lot of the backstory to do with Gundam animated for the first time. I know that this is going to be kind of confusing now, but the stuff which happens in this OVA series Gundam The Origin is like the backstory for the Gundam The Origin manga continuity. Like, this was a different continuity compared to the original anime series or the compilation movies, or yeah, I think there was even like a original Gundam manga made also before The Origin. There's a lot of different Gundam continuities out there when it comes to the Universal Century timeline. There isn't really any kind of established canon. There's like bits missing in like all of them really, which can be filled in by the others. So that's just the way it goes with Gundam. It's a little bit confusing that way, but yeah, it was really cool to see like a lot of this stuff animated for the first time, and I feel that Sunrise did an excellent job with it. If I remember correctly, I think one of them was animated by some people from Studio Ghibli also, wasn't it? I think like the 4th episode, which was kind of cool. I think that was the only episode which had that. Of course, with Gundam The Origin, they planned to only make 4 episodes, didn't they? But in the end, they made the extra 2, which went into the Battle of Loom stuff, which is pretty cool. And after seeing like the last 2 episodes, I think that was warranted. It was good to see like that part of the history explained also, and get into a little bit more detail about all of that. That was definitely worth covering, that's for sure. Because I haven't read the original Gundam The Origin manga yet. I have the first volume of it, which I bought years ago, but still haven't got round to reading yet. I believe all the stuff which was contained within this OVA series was like interspersed along the way in that manga, and yeah, with this they just plotted out that backstory in one go sequentially. But yeah, a little bit more in depth. I think like kind of as people would expect, this backstory concentrated like pretty much totally on Char Aznavour. You had a few bits of Amurian also, but it mainly concentrated, to be honest, on Char Aznavour and Sailor Mass in their formative years as kids and growing up with basically the Zabi family trying to hunt them down, especially Kycilia. Like, you can see why Char Aznavour had like such a disdain for her. Because she was kind of like the person, it seems, from this, who was like mainly responsible for trying to track the 2 of them down and basically kill them off, it seems, for the most part. And it was kind of, yeah, strange that they ended up kind of having a small alliance in the actual series, didn't they, towards the end there, until Char Aznavour rocket launched her head off at the end. But anyway. So yeah, I think the animation in these things are absolutely amazing. They were really good. Like the one like thing I have to say about the animation, which I really didn't like, one aspect I didn't like about the character designs was like the way like the heads looked. I think they looked a little bit too blocky and square. I didn't really like that aspect of the character design. I can't remember. Sorry, I'm terrible at remembering everyone's names when it comes to the staff and all that, but I believe the character designer has been involved with Gundam for a very, very long time. I think he even did the character designs for Zeta Gundam. So it's really incredible because the character designs look quite different from back then. You can really see how his style has changed massively. I believe Gundam The Origin, though, was like his final project. He's not doing any more stuff. And when it comes to that also, this is like the last of Gundam the Origin. They're not doing any more now. I know that many people had kind of thought, oh, will they be doing like retelling the original Gundam story with the same animation? That's not going to happen, unfortunately. It would be rather cool. I think we will get like a retelling of the original Gundam someday. Like in my previous videos, I said that I think that the upcoming Gundam movie potentially could be about that. It's a little bit disappointing that they haven't remade it in the style of the Origin, but to be honest, I'm not too bothered about it. I'm kind of happy what they've done with the Origin, to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see if they someday do the same thing with Zeta Gundam Defined, which is the Zeta Gundam version of Gundam the Origin, if it were. So that would be kind of interesting if they do that or not, but we'll see. Time will tell when it comes to that. I believe that manga series is still going, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But yeah, what else do I have to say about this? I think when it comes to me and how I rate the individual episodes, I think like the one thing I don't like about this, I haven't watched the entirety of Gundam Unicorn yet, and it's like for the same reason. I think Gundam Unicorn had like a larger problem when it comes to this because it's telling ongoing storyline, and I remember like the OVA parts came like a year after each other and it's hard to keep track. With Gundam the Origin, of course, like the story is taking place at different times, so it was a bit easier to follow, but it was a little bit annoying still that you had to wait so long, and by the time the next episode came round, it's kind of forgotten what happens like in the episode before. But it wasn't too big of a deal. This time I was able to watch it all the way through. And I watched all of it. Well, I watched, I think, how many did I see? I saw 3 of the episodes via streaming services. And I saw 2 of the... I think I have episodes 3 and 4 of this in like the collector's Blu-ray set, which is like a really cool set. I've seen like the images actually join up on the boxes if you get all 6, which is kind of cool. I think that's only boxes 5 and 6 though, but the artwork looks really cool in them, and they are worth getting if you do come across them. But anyway, I have those 2, and the other one I saw at a convention. It was like I think it was like the European premiere or something, which was cool to go to, and it was kind of cool to be able to experience something Gundam related in that way. So yeah, I was happy to I've had like a cool experience when it comes to Gundam the Origin. A lot of people say as well about Gundam the Origin that it's not really the best kind of series to people to start with if they're starting Gundam. I'm actually going to disagree with that, because from my experience, this is one of the first Gundam things that I showed my wife. Like she had seen, I'd showed her Victory Gundam before, and she enjoyed that, and she'd seen Gundam 0080. So when this came out, I decided to tell her about this, and she began watching it despite knowing nothing about early UC at all. She was starting fresh really when it comes to that kind of history of the franchise, and she's really enjoyed it. She's really enjoyed Gundam the Origin. Not so much the last episode, which I'm going to tell you about now, because between the 5th and 6th episode, she watched like the compilation movies with me, and by the time she watched this last episode of Gundam the Origins, she complained that, oh, it's not really as good because I know what's going to happen now. So, and I think she kind of really enjoyed not knowing what was going to happen. Whereas I think most fans who've been enjoying Gundam the Origin, the OVA series, have obviously already knew what's going to happen when it comes to all this. But yeah, she seemed to really enjoy it as like a relative Gundam newcomer, so I have no reason why other people wouldn't enjoy it also. He probably wouldn't be my top pick to recommend someone getting into Gundam, but oh well, that's just kind of the experience that my wife had, which I think is just something interesting to add into this video here. I'm not really going to really get too much into the story about this. I know they did make there are some differences, like I mentioned before. So there's different continuity, like stuff like, I believe that Ramba Rao in the original kind of continuity, he did participate in the Battle of Loom, but in this version he doesn't. In the Origin turn of events, he doesn't participate in that, or he refuses to. which kind of I think is a good thing because it kind of lends into Rambaral being this kind of really noble character that he's always kind of been painted at. So I think that's probably like a good choice. I don't really know what else to say really, apart from I really enjoyed like the series. Just to recap, it's not my favourite thing in the Gundam franchise, but I think Sunrise did a really good job in interpreting that portion of Gundam the Origin and given us some really interesting backstory for us to watch. I think that's kind of the problem really. Wouldn't be the best, was never going to be the best thing in Gundam because it's focusing on the backstory rather than the real meat and bones of Gundam. But it's still really good and interesting to see. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and comments in the comment box below about what you felt about Gundam the Origin, whether you think, if you've read the manga, do you think they did a good job in adapting it to the screen? Do you think it was good that they've just adapted the stuff which happened in the past? Would you have liked to seen like a full remake of the manga done also? Yeah, just let me know in the comments below, and soon enough I'll have another video here for you. So yeah, see you soon.